Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about this capacitance hat by W8UZZ. Welcome back and thanks for being here. My name is Scott and you might have seen my recent video about my Scorpion HF mobile antenna. I use a capacitance hat or cap hat with it, and the standard cap hat is a bit smaller than this one. Now, let me hold it up here. This is the cap hat that comes with the antenna. Well, you can buy it separately, and as you can see, this 35-incher is quite a bit larger. Is larger always better? Not necessarily, but there is an ideal place, and it seems to be that the whatever size will tune the antenna to around 18 megahertz at its lowest position. I don't know why that's a magical number, but I will go with it. So this cap hat is made by W8UZZ. His website address is kind of complicated, so just search with your favorite search engine, W8UZZ, maybe add cap hat in that search and you will find his page, I guarantee it. You can also check him out on qrz.com and you'll find a link to his website there as well. And so this cap hat, why put something so big and awkward on a car? Well, it increases radiation resistance and brings more current up the radiator for a bigger signal, a better signal I should say. And it also is electrically longer than the 66-inch whip, but physically shorter. So I get to have a shorter antenna for drive-throughs, and what's not to like about that on my small car to be able to get it into small places. The workmanship on it is very good. Let me come in here and show it to you, see if I can get my face out of the camera. So there is the center head, and then here is each of the edges of, you know, say these radials, each of these spokes, and then there's the one that ties it all together. I hope that's coming out in focus for you. So this hat is 35 inches in diameter, which I would say is about as big as you want to go, but when you go to his website, you'll see that he has some insanely huge cap hats on his page. I'll just say it, they're ridiculous how big these things are, and they require a lot of extra support because they do catch a lot of wind. I also have a 12-spoke version of this cap hat, and that was what I bought first, but it would catch a lot of wind and just whip around in the wind. I speed, let's just be honest, and the faster you go, the more air that thing is going to catch, and then it just starts to whip around a little bit, and eventually this aluminum will fail. He stopped selling the 12-spoke cap hat because people were just not getting the memo that they need to slow down when they have that much topside mass collecting the air. This 8-spoke version works very well. With the 12-spoke version, I would not exceed 70 miles an hour on the highway. Some would say, why do you need to do that anyhow? But out west where the speed limits are higher, yes, I probably would want to do 80. So with this hat, I can do that. I can do 80 miles an hour and not worry about it too much. So small thing. Let's see. How much does it reduce the throw? If I wanted to tune 80 meters or 3.8 megahertz on this antenna, I'd have to pay it out pretty good. I will say this will extend up to 18 inches, and I probably was extending about 10 inches of coil to tune that with, say, a 66-inch whip, a little less to tune with a 3-lobe cap hat from Scorpion. But with this thing, to go all the way to 80 meters, I barely pay out 6 inches, and so a whole lot less coil extension on this with the larger hat. The only drawback I can think of with this cap hat, besides maybe a speed restriction, is I can only tune as high as 17 meters or 18 megahertz. And so I lose 10, 12, and 15 meters, which is not a big deal for me. I don't use those frequencies very often, but it's not hard to pack the 66-inch whip in the car and then swap it out real quick if I know I want to use it. And then if I know I really want to drive fast, you know, too fast for this cap hat, I can just put the whip on and leave it on and just go as fast as I want with that thing back there. So the drawbacks of this hat are very small. Another minor drawback of this hat is I can't fit it in the car without disassembling it, because yes, a 35-inch hat will fit through the hatchback and lay flat on the floor, but I can't with it assembled like this. So I have to disassemble it, which is not a huge deal. I just put a crescent wrench on here and just crack it loose and then unscrew it, and then I'm able to lay the hat and the radiator flat on the floor in the trunk. And that's how I transport if I'm not going to have the cap hat out in the wind, and I can drive at high speed to my heart's content. I feel like there's more questions that I could have answered about this antenna, this hat anyway. This isn't necessarily a technical discussion, but if you have technical questions, ask them. And if I don't know the answers, I will find them and answer below. The cap hat has been great. It helps keep the antenna nice and short when I'm driving down the road. This whole setup is 8 feet 2 inches, and so I'm able to get under most drive-throughs if I go through a drive-through, and bridges are not a problem. Even with this thing fully extended, I am well within the legal limit, 8 feet 2 inches plus 18, so that's like 9.5 feet. I think it's 9 feet 8 inches, so I'm well within the max allowable freeway height. If I've got my whip on, then that's even taller, and so this is wonderful for being at a nice low height for trees and really anything. So yeah, I've enjoyed having it. Feel free to ask questions if you have them. I feel like I'm missing something, but all right, let's run with this. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for visiting. Take care.